What's happening, YouTube? Today the sun is out and I thought it would be stupid not to take this opportunity and film a vlog. Such a beautiful day. Such a nice day, in fact. Well, not this morning. It was a bit rainy this morning, but I got out of bed, crawled out like a zombie and packed up all my things, went to town, played some music on the street like a tramp. It was right because I was busking and I thought I'd say a few things about busking today.
Busking tip.
A lot of the questions I usually get are, do people ever bother you while you're busking? And one of the main things that does get on my nerves is usually when drunk people or chavs will come up to you and they'll try and sing on the microphone. That's just annoying. But apart from that, it's alright. I mean, the weather's nice and people are usually nice. The most common thing I get is when parents usually get their children to put money in, which is nice, it's sweet. But today's hot. I'm literally living off energy drinks. Ooh. Better not get done for copyright. But seeing as I busk on the street, I know there are people. Let's not kill the camera. I do busk on the street. But seeing as I do busk on the street, I know that there are quite a few people who ask for tips and advice about getting out there and playing new music. So I thought I'd make this video to help those of you who are looking to push your music out there on the streets and maybe make some money. What I would firstly say is not to be afraid about anyone else's opinion. If you're gonna get out there and play guitar on the street, you've got to be fully confident with who you are and what you're doing. When I first got out there, I was nervous as hell. It was horrible. I remember getting off the bus, walking into town and standing there, and it was horrible. I could just see everyone around me walking past, and it got to the point where I was thinking, I can do this, but then I got to this wall where I was sort of finding it hard to climb over. In other words, I was sat there like, now what? But then that's the point where I had to push myself, despite the way I felt, and just get out the guitar and start singing. And this was without an amplifier or any equipment. And it's once you start getting into it that you become more of a performer rather than a tramp. And then as I carried on, I slowly got into it more. And people around really don't bother you. In other words, they're not going to look at you and say, oh, you're terrible. They're not going to be that mean to you. However, you will get the odd person who walks past and they go, shut up, or you're crap, or something like that. But it's going to happen. You're going to get hate everywhere you go. And if you're not prepared for hate, then you're not prepared for it. Another thing that people would ask is, how do I actually start? For one, if you're doing it like guitar and singing, which is the most common, you need to find a spot which is best suited for you. So, for instance, somewhere which is busy with loads of people, where people would pass you more. And as well, if you pick that spot later than say 12 o'clock, there are going to be other buskers, so you've got to watch out for them. Block nose. If they're using amplifiers, you don't want to get too close to them, because if you're also using an amp, they can just outpower each other, and people don't really want to hear a huge mess of two different songs with completely different sounds. So make sure you're not too close to the other busker, because he might even come past you and be like, dude, you're too loud, or I'm gonna overpower you with my speakers if you don't move. Which is what I had one time outside Poundland. How ironic. There was a dude playing flamenco Spanish guitar, and I was in the middle of singing 18 by Ed Sheeran, and he comes up to me like this, comes right up to me, just stares at me, stares me out while I'm singing a song, so I'm stood there like, right? I stopped playing, and he looks at me, and he goes, I don't want to overpower you, but I will if you do not quiet down your music. I was like, whoa. That's not the way to talk to another. I didn't say this, but that's not actually the way to talk to another busker. Because music is meant to be about like making friends, especially when you're on the street busking. How I would have done it was, I would have waited for him to finish the song, not made him feel pressured, and gone up to him and just been like, hey buddy, can you turn it down? It would really help. And get to know the person. Maybe they're really good, maybe they could even collab on a song, which is what other people mostly do, which I have done before with other people. But this man just seemed to be in it for the money. And if you are just in it for the money, there's nothing wrong with that. You've just got to put on your act. Unless you're actually enjoying yourself, people aren't going to want to give you money. So some more tips I would say is to stay happy. You gotta have a smiley face, otherwise people are just gonna be bored of you. To really mean your lyrics. I mean, it's one thing seeing a singer in town. If he doesn't mean his lyrics, it's just sound with no meaning. I find personally that songs need to sort of deliver the meaning of the song. And when people can feel that and actually relate to that, that's what they respect and enjoy. And also, if you are good, then even better. If you're extreme at something like guitar or singing, people will notice you. Also, you want to bring some originality to the table, so if you're doing your own songs, that's brilliant. You can also sell your albums or EPs, but I wouldn't recommend letting any policeman see that you're doing that, because I don't know if that's legal. But obviously make sure that your spot is legal, so that you don't need a license, or if you have a license, even better. I know there are some places in London like Covent Garden where you actually need to audition for a license. I'm trying to audition. They don't have any room for singer-songwriters at the moment, which is what I am, which kind of sucks, but just gotta live with it. Another thing would be, people usually always see me when I'm busking. I usually take all the money out and put it in my bag, but like, you don't have to do that, but it's recommended, because if people see that you have too much money in there, they're gonna be like, he doesn't need any money, why would I give him any? Or if they see that you have too little, they're gonna be like, oh well, he's obviously rubbish. So it's always good to keep a medium amount in there, and obviously not too many. For the other point is, if people see a lot of money in there, some odd little kid or chav is gonna come up to you and be like, I want that, and he's gonna take some money out of it. I've never had anyone rob me like up front, but I've had 2 people who did take money out. What they did was they said, look, we'll help you move it because there's so much of it. They grabbed a handful of it, and I was like, no, no, no. She dropped it, and she was like, oh no. Obviously not by accident. And her friend helped her. Like, they were meant to be picking it up, putting it back in my thing, but I think they nicked a few pounds from that, which is never good. Another thing is to actually have amplification. I mean, if you're gonna go and you're playing acoustic, that's fine, but you're not gonna be heard as much down the road, or the cars are gonna drown you out. It's always good to have some amplification to make you sound louder and clearer. And also, usually these amplifiers have reverb on it, and that can make you sound 10 times better if you have a sore throat like I do. Remember not to set your amp too loud, because shops might complain. There's always a chance of shops complaining. I've been in Brighton, and I've always had people walk down and say to me, that shop has asked us to move you, can you move please? And the worst you can do is get moved. I mean, you're not going to get arrested up front for doing anything like that. And all in all, just be friendly. I mean, if someone starts talking to you about your music, sure, you can be friendly, but you will come across some odd people. And also remember to be comfortable with what you're doing and who you are, because if you're feeling uncomfortable, it's going to make everyone else feel uncomfortable. And I'd say the best thing to do is to enjoy it. If you enjoy what you're doing, the day's going to go a lot quicker, and it's always best to get there early. I'd say maybe go from 9 till 2 or 3, which is the best time, because in the morning it's when some people come out there. Some people have had good sleep, they feel in a good mood, I don't know. But I'd say 3 is when it starts to die down a little bit. And I'd say another thing is not to be let down. For instance, say you went from 12 till 7, that's a long day, and you only came home with £5. Don't be disheartened, because I've been through it, a lot of people do. It's just that either your town wasn't busy that day, or people just were broke. Maybe people just didn't want to give that day, or they weren't in the mood. It can depend on the weather, it can depend on your spot. For instance, if it's a rainy day, not many people are going to come out, and if it's windy, it can just blow your stuff around, that's horrible. And also, maybe you weren't amplified. It's always good to have amplification, because I started personally without an amp. Obviously I didn't have the money to buy the amp, because the amp is a good £200, and when I started out, I was usually playing outside Marks and Spencer's with my little acoustic guitar like this. But I kept on going, and I saved up my money to buy an amp, and things became so much easier. So yeah, I'm sure if you follow all of these things, then you'll have a great time busking. I mean, you don't have to stay dead to anything, and the most important thing is just to do what you want. If you feel like stopping for a while and eating, stop and eat, you know. I don't eat, I just go and work, because then I feel as if personally, while I'm eating, those people walking by might not be there later on, but that's just a personal thing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my video of video-ness on YouTube. My eye twitching. This eye right here. Is it twitching? When I'm in photos, sometimes it just goes like that, it just goes a bit asleep, just falls asleep. But the main thing is just to be brave and get out there. People will say crap, but don't listen to them. So if you are a musician looking to get out there, go ahead, give it a shot. Make sure you don't give up, because it always, like anything, it takes persistence. Persistence, persistence, persistence. See, this is my script for Guys and Dolls. I think a couple of my friends know I'm in this. I'm doing a little play. Nate in Detroit. I can't do the accent, I'm terrible. Oh, you've got a page there, see this? There you go, it's just white. Fellas, I can't do this, that was terrible. Fellas, I'm having terrible trouble. It's gotta be New York. New York. Fellas, I'm having terrible trouble. Everyone's scared on account of that lousy Brannigan, and I can't do it. I can't do the accent, I tell you. I tell you, I can't do the... It sounds similar to Italian now. Please give me a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe, which is the button over here, right there. I think it's there. I don't know. Or just click my face right now. Everyone does this. Click my face right now and subscribe to my videos. That's my woman. I want to be in more of your videos. I'm so sorry about her turning up. Oh my god. Hey y'all. She always does this. You love me because I'm attractive. No, you're not attractive.